For many Coloradans, rest and recreation means getting outdoors. When we're out wandering the woods, it's not uncommon to stumble across old buildings and wonder what they were used for. Our next site fits that bill. A group of 5 cabins in the James Peak Wilderness.
It's close to home. It's just beautiful.
Visitors to the James Peak Wilderness see these cabins on every visit.
And that kind of gives it a little personality in this area.
Few know why the cabins were built there.
I don't know much about them. They've been here in the 25 years that we've been coming up this way. And yeah, it'd be nice if there were some maybe historical signs up to kind of, tell the story about them.
This is a little worse than the last time I was here.
Even historians found themselves looking for answers.
Their isolation and also the fact that there were 5 of them together, you knew there was some purpose here. I thought maybe they were Forest Service buildings.
The biggest clue to their origins lies just a few yards away. The Moffat Tunnel. It's named for David Moffat, a Denver rail baron. In 1904, he built a railroad up and over the Continental Divide.
Basically 23 miles of track that made all sorts of circles around lakes and trestles hanging from 1,000-foot drop-offs.
Snow quickly proved to be a huge problem.
They were basically blowing their budget on snow removal and snow mitigation. They built massive snow sheds over the rails, just trying to help any way they can to limit the amount of snow that was blocking those trains.
The solution was obvious: tunnel under the Continental Divide.
He got that idea right away. It was just a problem of funding.
David Moffat would die before the funding for his tunnel was approved, but construction on the Moffat Tunnel began in 1923. Building the tunnel required 1,600 workers. The contractor built a temporary company town called East Portal to house them all.
And here at the town site, they had everything from a doctor that was on staff full-time with x-ray capabilities to a movie theater where a screening of a film was just 35 cents. Camaraderie was quite high, and I think that was because of how this town was set up. Is meant to basically be an isolated island, but yet they had everything they needed here.
The first train rolled through the Moffat Tunnel in February of 1928. Before those first train whistles faded, workers began dismantling the town board by board, all except for these 5 cabins.
The people that lived in the cabins were the supervisory personnel.
The railroad kept these 5 cabins for tunnel maintenance workers. They moved out in the early 2000s, leaving these buildings to battle the elements.
Not sure how many more winters these buildings can take.
The harsh winter climate is only half of the threat. The increased popularity of the James Peak Wilderness area brings with it an increase in vandalism.
They think no one cares, so education, I think, would do a great deal for saving these buildings.
The buildings tell a story greater than the graffiti on the walls.
Because I think it's the stories of the everyday people that really make Colorado what it is.
Gilpin County wants to purchase the buildings from the railroad.
They tie it directly to the construction of the Moffat Tunnel and of the entire railroad corridor that runs through northern Gilpin County. That was an important part of our county's history.
Acquiring them is only the first step.
And it's a small county, and the budget, it's going to be tough for us to budget for these buildings to do the work that's going to be needed. The other issue is going to be finding a new use for those buildings.
The county hopes to tap into the appeal of the great outdoors.
The nexus of recreation and history, I think, is just an extra added educational piece for people when they come to recreate, to have the ability to understand who came before and the importance of that.
Visitors like the idea of mixing history with outdoor recreation.
For each generation after us that's going to come up and enjoy this area, it'd be nice to keep the history of the area going.
Over Over the past 23 years, 127 sites have been named to Colorado Preservation's Most Endangered Places list. Of those, 47 have been saved, continuing to tell their part of Colorado's history. Only 7 have been lost. Saving Colorado's history does much more than just restore old buildings. Saving our history allows us to learn about the everyday Coloradans who came before us, whose struggles and triumphs shaped the state we live in today. It preserves the cultural richness and diversity which defines who we are. Perhaps most importantly, it gives us a venue through which we can pass that appreciation on to future generations. I'm Dave Aguilera. Thank you for watching.